By noon the road had narrowed, between hedges silvered with frost, and the first refugees began to appear. A cart with one wheel bound in rope lurched past, piled with bedding, a cradle, and a cage of hens that screamed whenever the axle struck stone. Behind it came a woman, carrying a boy too old for her arms, his face buried in her neck, his bare feet black with mud. Then more followed in a slow, stubborn file. A cooper, with his adze and auger, wrapped in a blanket. 2 girls driving 3 milk cows with willow switches. An old man leading a mule that dragged a blood-stained plowshare. They traveled east while the army marched west, the space between them heavy with a numb silence. At first the soldiers jeered in the careless way of men who still believed misfortune belonged to other roads. They called for news, for village names, for some jest to make the road feel ordinary again. The refugees gave them none. Eyes stayed lowered, hands tightened on reins, on children, on the ropes tied to cattle horns. One man crossed himself at the sight of the king's banner. Another spat into the ditch, not at the column exactly, but near enough to strip the gesture of doubt. Cale watched their hands more than their faces. These were not people fleeing rumor. They had seen fires burning their homes and the bodies of their neighbors. He reined toward a bent-backed shepherd hobbling beside a flock pared down to 6 thin sheep.
What happened ahead?
The old man's gaze traveled over Cale's mail, his sword, the scar along his jaw. Fear worked in his mouth before speech found him.
Victory,
he said at last, and the word fell from him like something rotten.
That's what your lords promised. They took the field and left the hearths bare.
He hitched his crook toward the west.
Riders came 3 nights past, not ours. Fast ones. Torches and hooks.
Ahead, an officer shouted for the line to close ranks. The shepherd limped on without farewell, his sheep pressing around his legs like dark clouds circling in a storm. Cale turned in the saddle to watch him go, unease settling beneath his ribs with a soldier's cold precision. Armies won glory in one place by making emptiness in another. He had always known it in the abstract, as men know winter in summer. Now it came toward him on broken wheels and blistered feet, and for the first time since the victory, home felt less like a destination than a wound waiting to be opened.